one, I like saying this, like I can't have beef with anyone in the Kenyan music sector because it's too small.
For sure.
What are we beefing over? The gigs we don't get, the money
The
we're not
royalties we're
being
not
paid.
collecting.
Yeah, so like, oh, you didn't get that gig, me neither. Let's fight. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. There's more than enough space at the top.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the 30% podcast. This is episode 104. I go by Are, Sam Are, Are, and I'm joined by my co-host. Is that correct English? My co-host joins us. That's Afa Mefuna, the legendary, the greatest of all time.
What's up?
Yeah, and today we've got maybe he's the new legend, the new greatest of all time. Afam has been dethroned.
On my way.
Yeah. We've got the one, the only, Mr. M.Rumbi. I went searching for what the M means. Actually.
Let's go.
Shout out. The M is actually for Michael. Because for a very long time I didn't use the name Michael. So I was like, okay, how do we get an artist name without telling people who you are?
You don't have to know your government. No, yeah. So we have Mr. M.Rumbi in the building. You are a man of many talents. You are a musician and an instrumentalist. Those are the two talents I'm very aware of. Are the others?
Yeah, I guess I do a few things. First of all, like super happy to be here. Big fan of the podcast. So I'm a songwriter, producer. I do play a bit of guitar. Okay, I should stop saying I play guitar. I play a bit of keys.
A bit of guitar, he says. He plays a bit of guitar. I dabble a little bit.
It's,
guitar,
artists always have to have. There's that. I don't call it fake humble, but there's that fake humble you have to do just to keep yourself grounded.
You know, the problem is I think like I have some really good guitarist friends. So when I'm around them, I'm like, no, I just try. And then
when you're around us, bro, you're like
when I'm on stage, no, I do this full time. I play guitar. But guitarist, producer, songwriter, also music administrator and artist manager. Yeah.
Hey,
that's
let's
cool.
go, man.
That's cool.
He's a jack of all trades, man. That's
man.
fire. Wait, so you said artist manager. Wait, who are you managing?
So currently I am managing Cheruu and Cheruu.
Okay.
I also have a publishing and distribution company based in South Africa called Atahadi. So we're also doing publishing and distributing for a few artists in Kenya and in South Africa. It's like just really indie type stuff, just building it up from the ground, which is what I think the sector, because I don't think we have a music industry yet. What the music sector needs.
You don't think we have a music
industry?
Hot takes already. 1 minute in.
I've been told that's my problem actually. Like I've been having hot takes when it comes to music. I've been saying,
we definitely
let's see how it goes.
We are getting into that for sure. Let's start with how are you doing? I guess. Yeah.
We started with Sam or we started with me?
Just tell us how you're doing. How's life, man? How's your soul? How's your spirit?
So shout out, this is a wonderful host to get to start with me. I am good. I'm excited. I've been working on, I'm always working on music, but I'm working on new music. Also planning a show, hopefully for end of the year. So busy, but busy for me is always a good thing. Like I don't complain about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
How are you guys doing?
Dang. Let's start. Afam, can we start with you? They push the clock all the way back for you. Must be struggling.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Last night I was at an event. These guys called Pirate. They usually do like open mic type things where you go and play music and then they rate you and stuff like that. So yeah, I ended up getting home very late, but it was worth it.
Did you play anything?
I did actually. I did.
Oh,
I did.
fire.
I did. But there was this one kid who was like 16, and he made like some fire like it was just like a boom bap NYC Brooklyn type beat, and everybody was it was like one of the craziest moments because everyone was just the energy was insane.
Yeah.
Like everyone was freestyling, and
Wonderful to hear.
yeah,
That's
it was
cool.
it was actually a very dope. Yeah. How about you, bro?
Maybe you pulled out some of your legendary bars. I'm chill. Yeah. I mean, nothing much happened. Nothing
so
much
Sam
happened.
is chill.
Yeah. My life is not very interesting at this point. It's not about us, it's about the guest.
It's about the guest. So yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, let's dial it back a little bit and get to the beginning. So I wanna ask, before you even picked up the guitar and became legendary at playing it, what inspired you to even want to get into music? Or actually, what was like the first moment in your life that you can remember listening to music and like consciously having like an experience like this is dope and it might be something I want to get into?
You know what, that is actually a very standout moment for me because I can't remember the year, but I can remember where I lived. I can remember that I was using a desktop PC and I was listening specifically to, because I used to listen to a lot of rock. I'm a big rock fan, so I listened to a lot of post-grunge and I was listening to...
Let's go.
It's very eclectic music taste, let's call it that. So I was listening to a band called 3 Days Grace, which I really, really enjoy. And
I love 3 Days Grace.
Yeah. Afam is your people.
No, I can see a man of great taste. A man of great taste can't be helped. But I was listening to them and I was like, I really like how this music is making me feel. And I think when I started music, the biggest thing for me was to kind of be able to make people feel something. I thought it was beautiful that you can like write down words on a paper, pick up an instrument and then like
translate that.
Yeah, you put it on stage and people are like, oh my God, wow, I'm
gonna resonate with it.
Yeah. So I think my stuff tended towards I think a bit more melancholic stuff initially, but I was just like, I think enthralled by that fact. Like it's like, wow, like I listened to this song and all of a sudden I'm feeling a whole spectrum of emotions and I really wanted to be able to do that. So I think that's kind of what pushed me in that direction.
Yo, I love that, man. I used to listen to 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin,
Bro, they're amazing.
like My Chemical Romance, like all those people.
Linkin Park,
like,
Fall Out Boy. Look, I feel like the rock scene doesn't get enough love in the continent, considering how many of us grew up on it.
Yeah. I think hip hop sort of just came and almost like it's erasing people's memories on what was happening back then, and it's just a new
bro,
thing.
XFM was my bread and butter, man. What was his name? Farid Kimani. Shout out to him, man. I used to listen to XFM like religiously.
This is how you know like I'm an XFM like fanatic because I can remember it was Farid, I think what was it, Nadia and Nick, I think, if not the three of them.
Yes, Nick.
Those were good days, man. Yeah. Like it's really interesting because when you think about that, you can almost tie emotions back to those days. It's a deeper connection, sort of. Of course, maybe we would have those connections later on in life with what we're listening to.
I think that's also the beautiful thing with music again. It's like, it's kind of like that. You look back on XFM and you're like, wow, there's this feeling I feel. And then, you hear a song, you're like, wow, there's this feeling I feel. So I'm big on feelings.
Big on feelings.
Does music today give you those feelings? Or do you think nostalgia is, I don't know, like just plays a big part in that?
Yes. It does. There are going to be a lot of hot takes in this. There are a lot of things I feel like I do musically that are very... let's call them niche, for example. So I don't listen to albums. I'm not an album person. I'm a singles man. And I think that shows in my discography, but also just how I consume music. So I'm always finding something new that I'm like, whether it's from like the 60s, 2000s, or just from this year. Yeah. There's so much good music. It's just like a roller coaster. It's like, damn, I didn't know I could feel this again. And it's like, wow. So yes, it still does make me feel, if not more, similar. That's the crazy thing about music. It grows with us.
That's cool. Do you usually go back? Do you go back to like there's something I do with my brother sometimes when we're together and we're just chilling. We love low-key music nerds. So like go back to those feelings and those connections, and it's upped from like 9 p.m. to like 4 a.m. and just going back and trying to recreate or feel what we were feeling when we used to listen to those music. Do you go back? And then if you do,
I think I do.
What what do you find yourself gravitating towards first?
So I'm a big fan of like singers first, then rappers. So I feel like usually where I start is Fall Out Boy. I think Fall Out Boy was like one of like my first favorite bands, but it's because weirdly enough there was I don't know if people know this, there was like a Fall Out Boy Kanye West project like back in the day. I don't know
Oh my
whoa,
god! Yes, that's bringing back memories.
You see-
Oh my goodness.
So I remember like listening to this, I was like, and I loved Kanye West, I love Fall Out Boy. So definitely a lot of Fall Out Boy. Sometimes like old Tyler. Okay, not old Tyler, but like
Not Water Tyler, of course.
no. Hey yo, shout out to that Tyler because I have to give her props. You know, it's beautiful to see African artists succeeding, especially like on a global stage, without having to per se conform. So shout out to all our uppity Africans.
Uppity Africans for the win.
Here to take over. But yeah, Fall Out Boy was a big thing. I mean, I love the roots, especially when I'm feeling like very hip hoppy, jazz-esque. And what else would I say? I think Leanne La Havas, but that's because, as you know, Tom Mish and Jordan Rakey. Because I remember when I was in varsity, I listened to Beat Tape 1 and Beat Tape 2 and Soul. And I was like, no, Cloak. And I was like, this is the music that I want to make. Like, this is a sound I want to evoke from people. Like, so yeah, I do go back, but not as often as I do. There's so much good music, like, coming out like every week,
Yeah. So what ties in from that to you picking up the guitar? Like, or how did you start?
A big shout out to my old man, number one fan, supporter since day one.
Hey, shout out to parents supporting, or the old heads supporting their kids in music. Like that's an underrated thing.
It really is a beautiful thing. And like, so I'm very lucky with that. He's a guitarist, I think predominantly self-taught. So I think when I was in Form 2, I asked him, like, do you mind teaching me the guitar? And he was super excited. So he started teaching me and it was a struggle. But eventually I graduated from our home classes to the School of YouTube. I did a bit of, I think I also went to Conservatoire for a bit, but he was very big on me writing my own songs, making my own music. So he'd always be like, you know, it's great that you learned someone's song, but you know, you should try and write your own. And he said this as a songwriter himself, because he would say, you know, I wrote this song before you were even born. Like, I'm like, oh, that's nice. So I would say he was a very big influence. And then also just the fact that I think in my life, if you've asked me that what has moved me the most, what has made me feel the most, top two and not two, it would be music.
It's always amazing, like hearing like people's like stories, like when they get into music. Like it's always so inspiring. Because I don't know, you know, it's just like, I feel like everybody's story, it always starts from just like seeing somebody do something and being like, yo, you know, I feel like I can also do that. So yeah, and you know, we're grateful that you had those moments and decided to pick up the guitar and start playing. Because yeah, I mean, you've blessed us, and you consistently bless us with new music, man.
Thank you very much.
So on that, right, you picked up the guitar, and your music is very acoustic. It's very bare, very minimalistic. Because people pick up the guitar and they go in very different directions. Why did you choose to stay with basically almost just the guitar?
I think I really like that clean sound. Like I know like some people play around with like distortion and crunch, but to me it sounds a bit noisy. I know I have a very minimal approach towards production, but that's because like I really enjoy like the vocals of my songs, and that's because I think I do the songwriting. So it's like I would want you to focus on the words and on the singing. But with that said, I'm also trying to experiment more. So like there's more layers coming. We'll see. I think music in itself is like us. We grow, we develop, we change direction. So who knows?
Yeah. So you produce all your stuff?
Yes, thus far I've done a few songs with other people, but predominantly I produce most of my stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you usually use to what DAW do you use to make
FL
music?
Studio till I die. FL Gang.
FL Gang. Let's go.
Like
Let's go.
I'll give props to other ones. Like I've used Ableton a bit. The learning curve is, it's not a curve, it's a straight line.
Straight up.
Straight up. It really is. So I've had I've dabbled in. It's really fun for sampling. And also because I used to do live looping, so I used to use that. but I think I make everything in FL. I record everything in FL. I mix and master everything in FL. It does what it's supposed to. And I really like. Actually, shout out to the stock plugins. It's not a free FL like promo, but like they are really good.
They've not cut the check, bro.
them.
No, shout out to FL. FL is the reason a lot of us are here
Yo.
doing this. So
Yeah, me and Sam are avid FL users. So
Okay. Have you
FL
dabbled
put us on the
with
map.
any others, or has it always been FL? Because I feel like people move around a bit, and then you kind of lock in on the one.
FL is really cool because, and this I say this all the time, FL is cool because they designed it like a video game. So it's very easy to move around and to get what you're trying to do. Like the interface is very user friendly. And you only realize that when you go to because I started working with Logic when I started doing like more corporate stuff. And Logic is cool. It's just very for you to like be into it, you need to like actually enjoy Logic itself. So you have to spend some time with it, get to know it a little bit.
I agree with you. It's not even to trash other doors, but like because I've used like a few. Like I used Cubase for a bit.
Cubase, oh jeez.
And everything else I've tried, it doesn't feel the same. Also, FL looks really nice because like Ableton has a really like bland look. No hate to anyone who uses any of these doors.
No. There's hate. We're putting hate on Pro Tools. Pro Tools, no. Pro Tools in terms of user interface is the one reason I don't use Pro Tools. Because yes, I
use Pro Tools. Is that crazy? I never had space for Pro Tools. Let me say that.
Okay.
Yeah. It was either I download Pro Tools or I download Omnisphere.
You said you also mix and master.
Yes.
Mix and master. Have you been doing that since the beginning, or did you?
No, I mean, I feel like when we start, I don't know. Like from what I've seen, like with I guess a lot of. Let me actually say, I think we can actually say African music producers, musicians. You start very DIY. So I didn't even know what mixing was. I was like, I just need the song to sound good.
You need the volume up.
Yes, like the vocals are too high, the drums is so. Slowly I started learning like, okay, mixing is like this and then mastering is this. So it took a while. I feel like I only started mixing properly like 3 years ago, maybe mastering about 2 years into that. It's been a very progressive thing. Yeah.
You're doing all your stuff.
Yes. I like to say Minim Tiaji when it comes to music. I genuinely love it. So like going over and above is never like, oh, this is so. It's like, no, it makes sense. It makes sense.
That's cool. I guess on that, and then I guess I can go. Do you? You've already said Minim Tiaji, but then do you? How much value do you place in doing things yourself, and collaborating with other people?
That is an interesting question. To answer them, I'll answer them one after the other. I think I place a lot of value in doing things myself, but I say that also as something I would advise all artists in general, because a lot of us start without a team and then you kind of build up from there. So you kind of need to know what is your minimum expectation from people, you know? So for example, if you're doing your own mixing and mastering, you might not be the best, but you at least have a standard. So when you, I guess, hire out, you can place it at like, okay, if you're not doing this good of a job within this amount of time, I'm not going to work with you. But I also think collaboration is super important because one, it gives you perspective in terms of making music, just being around musicians. And I think there's a certain organic like vibe when you are working on something with someone else. Like there's that whole idea of like someone is bringing different ideas and it's like painting a picture together. Like, what are you going to? You're not going to have the same thing you don't have the same idea, but you're working towards at least the same picture.
Goal.
So goal. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
I mean, speaking of collaborations, what's the first collab that you ever did?
Officially, and I'm so glad my memory is not disappointing me today because like that, this is all of my fingertips. Shout out to Angela Otuka. I think that was the first artist I worked with in terms of like actually releasing some work. We recorded it over WhatsApp.
Wait, okay, all right. How?
Like so, basically, I would sing something as a recording, and then I'd send it to her, and then she'd sing something back, and then we just placed it in the door. And then we put it up on SoundCloud.
God.
Yeah, so
it's still up now.
It's still up. I'm very like I do agree with artists taking down their work sometimes, but I do like the idea of people being able to say that they've grown with me. Like, go listen to that first song. Go listen to that air quotes mixing and mastering. But it was called 4.3K because I was in Bloemfontein, South Africa, and that is 4,300 kilometers away from Nairobi. And it felt kind of, artistic, like, 4.3K.
Yeah. I get the whole artistry, yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. Honestly, I remember the first times, man. But like recording through WhatsApp, that's actually, listen. Shout out to bro. We back in the day, we made shit work, man. We had a dream. We had minimal tools, but we made shit work.
Yeah, we're spoiled these days. These days we have
getting
so
used to
much,
nice
man.
things.
Like everything is in front of us, and it's just so easy,
bro.
Back then you have to
Sam,
hustle.
I'm telling you, Sam. I remember when I started, like it was cracked FL, and then I couldn't save my sessions. So every time I did something, I had to do it to completion. Otherwise, I'm never getting that session back.
Wait, pause. You said you had cracked FL.
Yeah.
And you couldn't save your...
back in...
What kind of cracked FL did you have that couldn't save?
Man, that sounds a bit like you should get your crack.
I did. I think I got a really ratchet one or something. But
like
I couldn't
the whole point of cracking FL is so you can save your stuff.
Sam, I couldn't save my session. So every time I made music, I had to do it till I finished it. And that's a habit that ended up being something that I I just ended up even doing till today, where it's like when I start something, I have to do.
You have to finish it.
It's completed.
Oh man, I wish I was like you, man. And actually, want to find out from you. I start something and it's the fire. My problem is that when I start something and I always make music I enjoy, and I love to listen to, so I become a fan of the song. And then I play it, like you should see almost a lot of my projects, it's like 4 hours, 5 hours, just because I'm just listening to it. Like one little tweak, change the kick from here to here, and then listen to that for 2 hours, then change, and it just becomes a nightmare finishing songs. Is that?
Unfortunately, like I'm moving. Actually, I'm in the middle because like I will start something up until I feel like I'm happy with it. And then I'll put a pin in it and I'll come back to it. I don't like taking too long because I know like I'll lose like your lather, that vigor of like I don't want to do this anymore. But the way it works is like, let's say I'll lay like some like basic vocals and guitar tonight, and then tomorrow, because I'm a morning person, so I'll be up between like 4 and 6, and then I'm just bothering my neighbors with my monitors on loud,
nice.
And I'm just like, okay, no, now we're laying the bass line, now we're putting in the keys, and I'll try and get it to a point where it's like structured.
Yeah,
and then it's just in and out, mixing, in and out, changing the arrangement, in and out until I'm happy. I don't believe in like perfectionism because no song will ever be. Actually, say you don't want to make a perfect song because then every other song you make will be worse.
A little bit.
Yeah,
unless you're making perfect songs all the time.
Yeah, then it's not perfection. You know what I mean? It's like then it beats the point. Perfection is something we chase but never attain. So I'm like, when a song, sometimes you can tell when a song is ready. It's like, this is the best I can do. This is the product. Let me put it out.
You talked about managing artists. Do you use that same mentality with them?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Like we will back and forth. I'm big on creative freedom. I think that's an important thing when you're managing artists because like you also don't want to stifle that creativity. But I also think like an important part of you being on their team, being part of that team, is that you also need to be a voice of reason where it's like, I think you're spending more time on this track or you're putting more into it than we are going to get out of it. Can we sit down and have a conversation around that? Because also it's a sad thing if you're like, this is a perfect track, I love it, and then like you put it out and it's like you don't get the expectation that you want.
Expectations will kill you.
Yeah. So who do you blame then? Is it yourself for putting in too much time? Do you blame your audience? Is it your rollout? So I'm also like, you need to balance how much you put in with how much you're getting out.
So I have a question and it's tied into this. So you said you're managing Cheruu and Cheruu as well, yeah?
With more to come.
Is your philosophy behind deciding who you want to manage similar to who you want to collaborate with or who you want to make music with? Or is there a difference?
Not really. I think there is a slight difference.
collab, like in sense of like make music with.
Yes, no. It is similar, but I'd say like with management, there's a lot more intentionality. But I think that's because it requires a lot more investment. So like with collaborations, sometimes I do one-off like collaboration. There are times where like you'll find I have repeat collaborations. So it's easier to get through a track because it's just one track, or it's like maybe even if it's an EP. While with management, you are projecting like I really up to 2 years, because like, that's how I do it, like 3, 6 months, 9 a year, and then
Okay.
so it's very important to one. I mean, like look at the person you're working with, like how do you guys relate to each other, and also what work ethic they have towards their career and their music. Because I say if you wanted to make money like a job, you got to treat it like a job. So
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately,
yeah, I mean that's why you got to do what you love. Then it's not a
it's
job.
not work.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, it's not,
Unless you're
it'll
signed by a
always
label.
be a bit overwork. I
Then
don't
it's
think
over
you
for
can like everything.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's true. But yeah, so I think I'm slightly more intentional with the people I'm managing. I do need to love your work because it's easier for me to push something that I love. So it's the idea
Yeah.
that I love your work, I love your work ethic, the trifecta, then I come in and we make it work.
Is it in terms of managing? Is it were you approached, or did you? How did you get into managing? Because from being an artist, and why did you think that was something you could do and just to get into?
It's actually similar to like how I did radio for a bit. I was just told, yo, you should try this out. I think you'd be good at it. And I was like, I'd bet. And to a certain extent, I was doing it. I mean, before I left Nairobi for South Africa, I had a music collective I was running with one of my colleagues called Rosie at Work. And I was basically managing artists at the time. I just didn't see it as artist management. It was just like more of running the collective. So after I left, there were a few people who were like, oh, let's try, see if we can do this. Distance was a problem. So when I came back, I've just been running into artists, and I'm big on like skill sharing, skill development. I do be talking quite a bit. So, I mean, through that, there are a few artists that I've met that are like, oh, I appreciate the info you have. So with some of them, they'll be like, I would like you to manage me. With others, I'd be like, I think I'd be great if I managed you. And then really we take it from there.
Nice. That's dope. So speaking of collectives, tell us more about BasicCity and how that all like culminated. Is it something that started while you were out there in South Africa?
Yeah. BasicCity started while I was in South Africa, if I'm not wrong, 2021, and it was such a chance encounter. I was going for a pad drive. I was going to help a friend at a pad drive, and their friend came with them. So we're just kind of chatting about music. I just put out, I can't even remember the day. It's the 28th of May, because that's when Wonder came out. And I played in some of my music. This is Basic now, Malcolm. And then I played some of my beats. And then like a month later, we were in studio. And then 3 months later, we met again, and it was like mad chemistry. So like we'd get into studio and we'd do like 3 songs just like in an afternoon. And we're like, we're onto something. So his name was Basic with 2 C's, and I was the hippie in your city. So I dropped the hippie, kept the city, and then he dropped like basically the second C. So it's BasicCity. And yeah, we kind of just kept pushing from there. I mean, Malcolm is a guy I started Ahadi with. So he's a co-director for the publishing and distribution company.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yo, you have so many accolades, man. It's actually insane. Publishing and distribution. Bro, for a lot of people, those two things seem like myths, especially publishing. Yo, I mean, our audience is definitely people who are, just interested in the music industry and stuff like that. So I have a question, like, how does one get into publishing, especially? Who are the key people or the key things you need to like know, especially in Kenya, like when it comes to publishing?
I think it depends on what you're aiming for and where you're trying to put your music. I mean, with publishing, there is the aspect of you're collecting royalties. So with that, then you need to be in touch with radio stations and like your various pros, so your performance rights organizations, SAMRO, MCSK, BMI, ASCAP. And then also there's the fact that you should be, I mean, part of publishing is also like trying to get artists or like their music synced. So you also need to be reaching out to music supervisors, directors. It's a full circle thing for me with the distribution, because the way I look at it is that one, especially, and again, like Kenya, Africa, there's a lot of good music. People don't know how to put it out. People are using third-party distributors, which are great, but there's no specific plan behind it. So what we wanted to do was to come in with the idea of that, okay, we'll push your music out, but beyond putting your music out, like when it comes to publishing now, we'll make sure you're getting your royalties. We're following up on our side. We're trying to put your music in places or spaces where it'll get recognized and get more love. Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is like you need to like definitely be in touch with like the music business side and the music administration side. So the people who handle one playlisting. You also need to be like pretty well read on your copyright. Also just
Very
like
well read.
your property, because like ISRC codes, you'd be surprised that people don't realize how important ISRC codes. I'm like, that's the ID number for your song.
Yeah.
You need to send that out every time you send your song to a radio station, because that's how they can like, they'll be like, this song was played this many times because this is a code that is assigned to it.
Yeah. When we talk about distribution, especially here in Kenya, it's the two artists you are managing, right? First of all, let me back up a bit. Your distribution, who does your distribution, or how do you go about that?
So
Your
right
own
now,
personal as M.Rumbi.
So okay. So I, as M.Rumbi, I'm distributing through Paradise Africa. I think about a month before we started the company, I got a distribution deal. So I've been pushing with them. They're cool, they're fun. I really can't complain. I think they're the biggest distributor on the continent. So it was like a little nice, hey, you're not doing too bad. But again, I think their focus is on artists that are slightly bigger. I think I had the benefit that I've had pretty decent playlisting and pretty decent streams. So that's kind of why they picked up on that. But just with my time working with them and working alone with other artists, I realized there's like a lot of music that is going under the radar. And it's not going under the radar per se because the music is bad. It's because like it's just an email could have been sent here or a pitch could have been made there. So we're just trying to make it better and easier for artists. I really like saying like, really, I want you to focus on the music. All that other stuff, let me stress about it.
No, that's smart. Yeah, man. Distribution. I feel like, because most people usually go the independent route, or like, you know, using a DistroKid, whatever. So that's interesting. I feel like in this music industry, it's also just who do you know? Because a lot of people get lost out here. I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to like finding all this type of stuff and this info. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this
go ahead.
Yeah, and the systems that we have currently, at least locally, they're not the greatest. Which I just actually want to ask: are you following everything that's going on with the I don't want to say distributors, but I guess along those lines, it's a royalty collection and the CMOs. That's the whole everything that's going on, the drama.
So I've been watching it, and you know, I stepped out because I was like, and this is talking trash. So I. So when I was registering for Pro, I was like, I'm not registering in Kenya. And it's not in a bad way. So I don't even think at the time MCSK was like, I didn't even know it was a thing. So I registered with Samro. And then I went on to register with other organizations in SA. And I found out MCSK had registered me without me knowing.
Wait, whoa, really?
Yeah.
Who did that?
I don't know, which is crazy because I'm like,
crazy.
yeah. So like, I'm calling from, I was still in South Africa at the time. So they're like, oh, we can't register you because you're registered with another body. I'm like, I have never registered with anybody in Kenya.
And like, why don't I know this?
You know what I mean?
Where is my money going?
I had to send it. You know, someone, like, again, shout out to my old man because he was in the country. He was like, oh, let me pass by their offices. And then they were like, okay, no, I think we have a different Michael in the system. So I can't preach for it. I mean, it really is a massive problem. Just like structurally, institutionally, we have a lot of work that we need to do. And it's even hard for me to vouch for like telling artists to use the systems we have in the country if those systems are not partially connected to ones that are outside, because the reality is you will eat stress. You like the fact that we know, and it's not even a hidden thing, that royalties are being either hidden or not being paid out or being diverted, and it's just business as usual, is just super unfortunate. So just why don't you make sure they don't get any of your money and register elsewhere?
We keep saying that on here. It's like until all this is sorted out, it might be better just to find, you know.
Yeah, and I'm saying this, Samaro steals money as well. So I'm not saying this. It's like they had, and this is not even like allegation. It's in the news. Like it's not allegedly. It's boom. So, but I'm like, it seems that the systems and structures there are slightly better.
At least they work.
Yeah, they work. You know, let me tell you, I feel like when you live somewhere, you realize like people be getting flowers for no good reason sometimes. Like shout out to the SA industry. It's beautiful, but it also has its own issues. So, I mean, there's also a lot. I mean, like Afam said, it's who you know. SA is slightly bigger in terms of like their sector, so you don't see it as much. But I feel like you go into a few rooms and you realize, oh yeah, wait, you guys all seem to know each other. Did you go to school together? What happened here? Something like that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about the industry. It almost sometimes it feels like a club, and you're always just trying to like get in or fit in. And
how do you
stuff
feel
like
about that? Because I'm on the fence about it. Like, I don't hate it. I just have issue when it's like a lack of what is it called? Is it meritocracy? Yes. So we're simply ignoring that someone is good because it would get in the way of our hustle. Because I mean, the reality is charity does begin at home. Like, if you look at how humans just behave, like, you will be nicest to the people you know and the people around you. I just think you have to be bigger than yourself to realize that sometimes it's not always going to be the people around you or the people that you like. I feel like you should be able to get into studio with someone you hate and make a banger. We're all grown-ups.
I think, to be honest, I think that happens in the industry a lot.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, they're on IG, like flexing and on lives together, like, yo, what's up?
They're like, it's
those guys don't mess with each other at all.
You know, now the fact that I've attended a few more shows in the city, that is true. Like, you'll see people hugging each other, and I'm like, no, I actually don't like that. But I'm like, oh damn,
yeah. For me personally, the whole I feel like, and I can only speak for myself, I've never really fit into any like things that have been going on in the industry. So I always viewed these things from outside. And for me personally, it's like I feel like everything needs to be like you said. I don't like the idea of just only working with people that you know, or like creating this kind of environment where you have to know like whatever. I prefer it like more decentralized, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's better.
Society won't allow us to do that though, because everywhere society is, there's going to be groups. Yeah. And like is going to attach to like, and then people are just going to do what's comfortable for them.
It's the reality for sure, because like even all the dope opportunities and stuff, like they go to people who are not necessarily talented or like or more talent, or more talented than the next person.
Yeah, what opportunities are these? Would you like to tell us? Please?
To expound a bit.
Some hot takes from YouTube.
I don't know if I can expound.
I feel like you all know what you're talking about, which is kind of sad, because like
yeah,
there was a time there was an opportunity in Kenya, and I think the short list came out, and I remember I was talking with some of my colleagues, and they're like, oh, it's crazy. Why were we able to guess 7 out of 10 of the people who were going to be on this list?
Oh my God. Yeah. Hold on. Are we let's not talk about, we've gone through controversy over whatever it is you're hinting at.
But you see, that's the thing. The fact that I was having that conversation with some of my musician friends. I remember, because in SA it's easier to talk about it, because I'm like, no one's connected. Like, no one knows who these people. I'm just like, yo, these are people that I've either performed, I know, I've seen play. But I'm like, it's very interesting that all of certain people, like all of these people seem to know each other. Now, I can't take away from that, because the beautiful thing about like our country and like just the artists here is that they have mad talent. But very important, but the reality is we can kind of see this like either you call it a cool kids club or a club of some sort. And again, I'm not going to take away from the fact that charity begins at home, but people, I do think, need to be bigger than themselves. I keep with I like saying this, like, I can't have beef with anyone in the Kenyan music sector because it's too small. Sure. What are we beefing over? The gigs we don't get, the money
the royalties we're not collecting.
Yeah, so like, oh, you didn't get that gig, me neither. Let's fight. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's more than enough space at the top. The very fact that we are in a country that's disposable income is not where it should be means that in general people are not making as much money as they should. So the reality is, like, we should be thinking community. I preach that community over competition. Community over competition.
Yeah.
Like community over competition. Yeah. I like it.
Let's stay on this because you've been in another music industry, like in SA, right?
Yeah.
And so you've seen something different. When you came back to Kenya, yes, what are the things that shocked you, and just what are some differences that you've seen? Because they tend to. It's weird to say, and I don't like comparing all the time, but the nature of things is comparison, right? So they are doing quite decently, in terms of at least the majority, or rather the popular stuff. It's doing very well, and it's something that I know that a lot of people say that we are trying to achieve, we're trying to get. we're trying to get to that level. We have some success. I think we're going through a period where we're having like new success. We've had older successes with some of the older acts. Some of the acts that traveled the world and introduced Kenya to like the culture of Kenya. But then there was almost like a quiet period, in my opinion. And then not that things weren't happening, it was just a lot more quiet.
It was more insular.
And then now we have now we have an opportunity to make to sort of go up again. So what are some of the things that you've seen in different industries? Maybe some things that you think that we could apply over here that could work. Maybe some things that are working here that you could apply over there.
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I saw coming back is the growth. I remember when I left Nairobi, which was about 7 years ago. I think the only event I remember happening was Blankets and occasionally Live at the Elephant. I think So Far Sounds Nairobi had just gotten off the ground. So, you come back and there's a gig every weekend, and the gigs have attendance. There's international artists, which is nice because at least it means as part of the global circuit, we are being considered more as a viable market, which highlights the music in our market. There's also a bigger appreciation for local stuff. I don't think it's as big as it should be, but it's definitely growing. A contrast I would say is like South Africa does very much have its own sound, but I'm not big on the idea of having your own sound, because what happens is, and you see it there, is that everything else is kind of just either being suffocated out. And I don't know if it's because of it's a market thing or an economy thing, but like in the case of South Africa, Amapiano is a big thing, right? So you will find people will start gravitating towards making that type of music over music they'd want to make because they're chasing a check or they're chasing something.
Fan base.
You know what I mean? And that kind of dilutes I think the music pool in general. Like people say, oh, Kenya doesn't have a sound. And I'm so happy that it doesn't, because the fact that Kenya doesn't have a sound means that I grew up with peers who were making all kind of music. People were making indie, people were making
eclectic
funk,
music,
you know what I mean? Like
Kenya's sound is all of them.
Okay, I mean, we need to expound on this, to be fair, because this is what you've brought up is it's a true point, like, about our music industry. And so the way I view it is like there's definitely benefits and detractors to not having a sound. Like, because I think you look at West Africa with Afrobeats, right? And you look at South Africa with Amapiano and what they've got going on over there. And we don't have a sound. You look at TZ with bongo flavor and that type of shit. Like sometimes I feel like us not having like a defined sound holds us back from the general music industry, because the wider music industry likes to kind of like categorize things and understand, okay, this is what they've got going on. And because you see, like, people outside, they need to be like, what's the word? They need things to be dumbed down for them, and they need to like understand, okay, simply like, you guys do Afrobeats, bet we'll invest in Afrobeats, right? So I feel like outside looking in, it's kind of held us back not having a defined sound. But then inside looking out, like being in the industry, I agree with you. I love us not having a sound because we're so fucking diverse, and like everyone is like so talented and making such different shit. So I don't know. I feel like we need to have like a middle ground where like we kind of have a sound, but not. I don't know. Like, because this is something I'd be thinking about like all the time. I don't know.
I mean, I hear you. I think about it too, because also like when I'm speaking with sometimes the artists I manage, just artists in general, there's always that idea of like, because I think right now people would say the most idealistic idea of a Kenyan sound would be, I think, urban tone. Urban tone is kind of like what is
the current one.
Yeah, that's what people would call Kenyan. Like, it's the most popular music in the country right now, so it would be representative of the country sound. But what I say with that is that, one, I think the problem is like, and it's an issue with African markets, African musicians, is that we've been trying to make music to sell outside, and the reality is the same way like people, I mean, like, because there's some big shows happening in December, and you can see the international acts and you can see the prices of the tickets. The reality is we need to feel that way for our own people, and the more diverse talent we have, the more options are available. I mean, think about the population of one country. You know what I mean? How many people do you need to attend your show in order for you to break even? If we all start making one sound, I feel like it'll first of all just mess with the competition because there's just no variety. Everyone is making the same type of music. But the reality now is that if you decide this month you're going to go for a gig in Nairobi, and I wish we could spread it outside of the city, but yes, if you go for a gig in Nairobi, you have so many options. You have classical music, you have jazz, you have folk, you have indie, you have urban tone, you have afro, like you have mugidi. Give props to everything all around. Like that is a beautiful thing, and I just think it needs to be grown into a culture. And that's I think the problem is people think culture appears out of thin air, and culture is grown. Like you have to make it happen. So we just need to get people used to listening to music that is from Kenya, and then you just identify with it being Kenyan, thus it's a Kenyan sound. Because I don't want to change the music I make so that I can fit better within.
M.Rumbi on urban tone might be fire though. I feel like you're robbing the world of some gems.
Look, the problem, the things that let me just say, the things that are happening in the back. There's the song that I think we're working on. I don't know how much. I don't know how much I can go into this because we're like literally on the planning stages. But there might be something with an urban tone vibe that
exclusive for you guys.
Okay, exclusive.
That was an anti-exclusive. He told us that he can't tell us anything.
Yeah, I haven't told you the artist because it's a collaborator. Yeah. You've probably already heard. Like there's tidbits, but I can't say too much.
Wait, did he say a chick?
No, he didn't mention a name. He's not going to mention
names. I'm not mentioning names. It's an African collaboration.
Let me
we can run through a bunch of names and I will see if he gets nervous.
Godi Tenor.
You're not gonna get
Run Scooby.
Little minor.
No,
man. All right, that's
all I'm saying is like I think people are gonna really like it. It has a very I think because we've next I can't.
It's cool. Next.
Okay. Oh no. Yeah. So wait, this is actually in relation. So here's a scenario where the government or like the powers that be mandate that 80% or 70% of music played on radio stations and everything has to be Kenyan. Would you be in support of something like that?
I would be 100% behind it if it is implemented properly. I think one of the biggest problems with Africa, actually not Africa, the world, is implementation. Like the problem is the human condition, because the reality is what happens is if you say that, right, we would assume that there would be a transparent process. But for example, a shout out to all the media houses in Kenya. We don't have an email culture in Kenya. So for example, if you're trying to get your music playlisted, if you email, you finna keep emailing. You actually have to, it's true. So you have to make calls. You have to find people's names. You have to look them up on LinkedIn, which is dope for your research, but it is not conducive for actually putting people's music out there. And with that said, then the question I have to ask back is, if there is Kenyan music on radio stations and it's this hard to get it on, why? What is that block in between? Because comparatively with South Africa, because they do have that legislation where they have to play, I think, between 70 to 80% of local music.
It's law.
Yeah. Like they have a submission process. I mean, does the submission process work? No. But at least if you go to their website, you have a submission process. If I asked you right now for the top 4 or 5 radio stations in Kenya, how to get playlisted, most people would be like, you need to talk to someone, but they don't even know the name of the person they talk to, and not even like their actual name, like their title in terms of what and where they stand in the organization. Yeah. So I think it sounds great, but once again, there's just a lack of transparency in our industry. There's a lack of fair play and fair treatment. So I think it would be used to benefit specific people.
Do you think the artists here are in need of we just recently saw everyone out in the streets trying to fight for rights and trying to fight. Do you think we're at the stage where we need to do that? Or do you think we could solve the issues that we have in a more diplomatic manner?
As a big fan of the great author Mainawa Kinyati, what do they say? The tree of freedom is watered by the blood of martyrs. I know that's very aggressive to say, but
that's all right.
Yeah,
that's a bar. That's a bar.
Yo, Mainawa Kinyati is that man. And if he didn't say that, he quoted it, so you know he's that man. But I just think the reality is change has never been given. Change has always been seized. I'm a big fan of history, just reading the history of our country and the history of countries in Africa. If the change, and this is why, and I look at it like when people tell me like, okay, musicians are not being paid enough. But I'm like, okay, the reality is people are not being
And
paid
not being
enough.
paid enough, yeah.
And the unfortunate reality of the arts is, and if you think about it back to like, and I'll do this sometimes, just go back into history, but like the site Patreon, right, where you can be a patron to your artist, comes from the actual fact is that there used to be rich people in society who would be like, hey yo, I like your stuff,
Come do it privately
in my house, you know what I mean? So, and a lot of these times would be specifically around golden ages in society. So peacetime, a lot of prosperity. So if you want the arts to prosper, one, people need to be like chill and happy and sitting down and kind of comfortable. I mean, I'm not taking away from the fact that arts can happen in a more, like where there's turmoil, but where we see like massive just growth in the sector, in the industry, just in the field, people need to be doing well. I don't think people don't like going for shows. I think people love going for shows. I think people love music. I think people would want to be able to go for music every weekend if they can. But the fact is that they can't afford it. You know what I mean? There's space for growth, but it really is bigger than us. And yes, I think we need to do something as artists, but like we need to look at it as bigger than artists. Like we need to look at it as a people thing and not as a profession thing. Because like I said, no one is making enough money, it seems. So like it sounds very, not niche, but like we're being very individualistic by saying, but us.
Yeah.
It's all of us. It's all of us.
The problem, I mean, if you really look at it deeply, the problems that we're facing in many different industries, if you're in the film industry, it's the same thing that's going on. In the music industry, it's the same thing that's going on. It's not necessarily a problem with the art industry. It's a problem with the systems that we have to operate in.
Yeah.
You know, and those systems are undone everywhere in all areas, in the health sector, in infrastructure. So I get what you're saying. It's where this is not necessarily an art problem. This is a general people problem. And I don't want to always make it the fault of like the leaders, but it do be their fault.
But okay,
It do be their fault.
I do. You know, no, I
It's
really
their
feel like
fault.
we need to normalize that, and I say that because, like, and it's a sad example, but just to get like outside of music, right? This friend of mine who unfortunately passed away by road accident, right? I feel like that you should blame the government for that because one, they hit a pothole. Why are there potholes? Like, I feel like you need to normalize saying, "Oh, you don't have water," and imagine go blame the person who you're paying taxes for so that they can give you water. You know, this whole thing of help, you're not supposed to be asking for help. You should be demanding it. It is literally your right. Like, oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the Sonnets on a sofa.
A sofa.
We're both
yes,
on a sofa
sir.
right now. Let's talk on the Sonnets on a sofa. What's that? Just tell us what that is and the whole story.
Cool. So very excited. Sonnets on a Sofa is a mini writing camp that I started with Cheruu. It is a collaborative project. The focus is to kind of bring together artists. So we're big on community, but we're also trying to foster certain industry standards. We realize a lot of artists make music in their bedrooms or they work with specific producers, and that is not how it translates in the industry. You know, like if you're a songwriter, you could be called in for a session, and it's just like a doctor. If you're called into work, you come into work. It's not how you feel. I'm uncomfortable. Like I'm not.
Right.
It's like deal with the vibes later. Like you come
to work.
So, exactly. So we were trying to help create that on a smaller scale where we bring artists together and like, okay, you all have the space to write a song. So what we do is, and if you've watched maybe a few episodes, is every song that is written is like made an hour beforehand. So like when we were doing the guitar episode, it was fun. Like I think one day when we were shooting, we'd be like, pick a random letter between A and G, and that's the key of the song. And then pick random numbers between 1 and 7, and then those become the chord progression. And then we kind of jam it out, and then the idea is that the songwriter will write it there, and then we are all in the room as songwriters kind of giving feedback, those small golden nuggets like, maybe put a break here, try repeat that, just small things around songwriting that people don't think about, because I was very big on the idea of like, well, you're not writing a perfect song, you're writing a good song. And it doesn't take a lot to write a good song if you're a songwriter. So we've done season 1. We are currently rolling out season 2. Just about to shoot season 3. And it's been super exciting. Like literally it started because I was couch surfing at my friend's place in Ruaka. And I hit up Cheruu. I was like, hey yo, I'm in Ruaka, do you wanna jam? Do you wanna chill? And she came through. and I had my guitar, and like literally we jammed something out, and we're like, yo, we should do this. What should we call it? And I was like, Sonnets on a Sofa, because if you acronym it, it's sauce, so it's saucy sessions.
See, we hadn't done the science. You just, that's okay.
I like my acronym, so it's like, it's sauce. Cool. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing. It's been cool seeing how people write.
I definitely think it's gonna be a powerful discovery tool, especially for people who aren't like indigenous to our industry. So like, yeah, I know a lot of people who might be unfamiliar with some of the artists. Like they'll go on y'all's pages and just that'll be their first introduction, and I think that's phenomenal. My favorite episode definitely has to be the one with Zawadi. That was just insane.
If I had $1 for every time someone told me that was their favorite episode.
She killed it, bro. I was in her DMs. I was like, yo, this is insane. And that's cool, because like that's how you discover people and then start being like, yo, okay, let's work. And that's what's gonna happen. A lot of people are gonna like discover artists on that platform and start working with them based off of what y'all are doing. So you guys are doing the Lord's work, and I think I no, for real, I really respect that, and shout out to you guys. I like the new format, like showing the picking from a hat thing and everything, and expanding it with like artists like Groovy Joe and stuff like that. So y'all keep shining.
Thank you, man. Like I said, like I'm really big on community over competition. Like that's really, I live by it. And I think something we were trying to show people is that there's this whole conversation around artists having to be content creators, and it's a very spicy conversation. But what we were trying to show also on our side is that you can actually create content on a budget that people will really enjoy, because like we shoot this on our phones, we record it in we're not going to a studio, we're in like a homie's house. We're like, can we use your living room for a weekend? And people are down to come through, people are down to make stuff. So it's really just trying to show people like, if you guys decide, you can. I mean, we've started a second project now called Come Vibe With Us, which is now more focused on artist engagement and artist promo, where we take one artist and we mash up their song with another. And what we're hoping is that when you listen and watch the video, like, oh, I didn't know this artist, but I like this song.
Yeah.
Let me go listen to it. Or you're like, I didn't know these two artists sound good together. Can I get a song from them? So we're really trying to make like the Kenyan audience buy in. Like, you need to know these people. You need to love them. You need to want to see them on the street and take a picture with them.
Yeah. I have two last questions. One, how did your collaboration with Dolapo Martins come about? Because that song Joel released, Boloye.
Oh, he's been talking about that joint
that's
for
my
years.
shit, bro. How did that come about? Too. And
Thank you. Shout out Moloye. So I can't say I haven't even met Dolapo. That's crazy. We've only spoken over just basically.
For real?
Yeah, we've been communicating. I think we communicated over IG for a year. Then I got his number like in March.
That's how it happened.
Yeah. So I was trying to, so I'm big on experimenting on sounds. At the time my laptop got messed up and I was forced to not make music for like a few months. And what I did is I just kind of indulged in like songs. So I just listened to music, and I found out, oh, I don't have as niche a taste in music as I thought. I just like stuff that I like. So I was like, why don't I try making music that I wouldn't not consider, I mean, what people would say is M.Rumbi, but I enjoy. So I kind of went down the whole Afro soul, Afro-esque route. And I found Dolapo on Vamper. I don't know if you guys heard of Vamper. It's like they call
on
it
what?
Vamper. They call it Tinder for musicians.
I haven't heard of that.
Okay,
put us on.
PSA: if you are trying to find people to work with and you are struggling in the country, Vamper is like one of the best. You need to do a bit of work with it, but if not all of my international collaborations are from people that I met on that app. It's very simple. Like literally, you swipe left, you swipe right if you want to work with someone. So he was one of the guys who I was like, hey, Dolapo, would you want to work? And then we found like we have a beautiful working relationship. Like Dolapo works fast. Like I'll send Dolapo a beat and I'll tell someone like, no, trust, give me 2 weeks. It's Dolapo. And then he sends back something intense, amazing. So he just put
Yeah.
something together for us. We were like, what does Moloye mean? We don't even know. It's Yoruba. And he was like, it means wisdom. And we're like, all right, let's go. I had a friend of mine from Congo, DRC, do some guitar on it. He's the one who does this, he did the percussion and the bass line. And we just kind of like made it. I really wish there was like a whole thing of like there was a back and forth. He sent it to us. We loved it. We wrote something. We worked on the arrangement. We put the song out.
Shit's fire. That shit is really inspired. So shout out to you guys.
Thank you.
I guess the last question I wanted to ask was, tell us more about your EP Chasing the Shine. One, I really love that title. What does that mean to you, and how did the conceptualization of the whole project like come about?
So Chasing the Shine was part of a larger project that I was doing this year that fell off. So I wanted to release 6 EPs, 4 tracks each. So 1 EP for every second month. And each EP was supposed to kind of like touch on a different genre. So I'm very big on data and stats, right? So my plan was at the end of the year was to compare 2023 and 2024, look at how many streams I have comparatively, and also see which songs did better. The ones I pitched, the ones that I didn't pitch, so I can see in terms of genre and sound what people like most from me. And Chasing the Shine was being made around the time that there's a very specific type of music that I was listening to that I really liked. There's this guy called Kubla. He has this song called GTC, Good Thing Coming, that he did live on his like they call it a stoop, I guess. What is it called? Like balcony, not balcony. Yeah. Type. Oh yes, balcony, I guess. So live on the stoop, and it has like it. I call it White Boy Soul, and I was like, damn,
White Boy Soul.
Yeah, so like Do for Love, like that song. Yeah, that type of vibe. So I was like,
bro, that's that the bass line to that is my everything. Anyway, sorry.
That's what I call White Boy Soul. So that kind of it's like so light, and I really like it. And I was like, I want to kind of make this sound. I don't think I was able to, but like that's the idea with the title. Like I'm chasing the shine. There's a certain type of music I was trying to make, and this is kind of like an ode to that. So the songs were very heavily inspired by music I was listening to or music that I would like to make. So like Iroma Moch was inspired super heavily by Kokoroko and Mansa Brown, who are like jazz artists from the UK. Say What and Just Another Day were inspired heavily by Neo Soul, so Kubla specifically.
Yeah.
And then like what is it called? Slave to the Rhythm was inspired by, I guess, the Roots, because like the Roots are amazing. Just like live jazz hip hop, because I was in a hip hop band for. I am in a hip hop band. Yeah, BasicCity is a hip hop band.
BasicCity is a hip hop band.
Yeah. We actually went to the National Arts Fest in 2022, which was really dope. Like that is definitely a highlight of having been in South Africa, because we attended, we won an award, which we didn't expect to win. We were just chilling and we got a call in the morning, and they're like, "Hi, is this da 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 da?" We're like, "Damn, we're in trouble. We missed our performance slots." They're like, "No, actually, we want to congratulate you." I was like, "Oh,
that's the best. That's like finding 1,000 bob in your pocket that you forgot about years ago. That's crazy.
Still remember it today. Wonderful feeling.
That's cool. BasicCity. So I don't think we talked about that, or rather in depth. Who is part of BasicCity?
So BasicCity is a duo and a band. So the duo is myself and Malcolm. So that's Basic and City.
Okay, yes. Oh no, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then we had a live band element, because I'm just big on live music. I love Tiny Desk. I watched Mahogany Sessions growing up, Kina Boyce Avenue, Kurt Hugo Schneider. So just kind of seeing like live music, even if it's most like tame, unplugged form, has always been like a massive thing for me. So I was like, we need to bring this to the people. So we formed like a band, and we did a few gigs around my city, a few gigs around the country. Yeah. Lots of fun. There's something different about live music.
Quick question. How did you start working with Iana?
Oh, shout out. She slid into my DMs. Like,
for real?
For real. It's like, she was just like, "Hey, yo, I'm a fan of your work. I'd love to do something." And it's been beautiful music making ever since. And it's crazy because I only met her when I came back. So like we've been working for more than 4, maybe 3 years. And I met her in like June.
That's insane. But I feel like if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even know. I think what was it called AMs
Yeah,
or something?
AMs. I was going through my sad
Yeah,
boy
I feel
hours.
I think it's
yeah, I feel like if it wasn't for that, I would never have like discovered like Iana. So shout out to you for putting us on. You be putting us on to like these artists. So like I see you. I see you out here. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I think it's
I mean, I
really
think
good.
it's
Like
important.
especially working with artists like from when they're just starting out, and essentially like for me that's like a passion of mine. I wonder if that's like a passion of yours, just like, you know, finding and developing artists like from when they're super raw into like the final product.
It is. I don't know if like I'm a full process type of person. I feel like I'm a middleman type guy. Like I would like, and I think that's kind of like why we're doing the indie publishing and distribution. Is like past a certain point, I'm like, okay, spread your wings, go out into the world. I mean, there are definitely some artists that I'd like to run with like the distance, but there is something beautiful in seeing like the potential in an artist and helping grow that and helping culture that and also helping them see it in themselves. Like you'd be surprised, and I don't even want to call it imposter syndrome because imposter syndrome is a big word, but there is a certain lack of belief that like artists have. I think everyone has on a certain level. So I think just if you're part of their team, if you're in the if you're in the back, like part of your job is to remind people that, hey yo, you're awesome, like you're great. Like it's very easy to disconnect from the streams and from the views because like
Yeah.
I mean it's on your phone, it's not real. Like people are not stopping you. Like if your song has 1,000 streams, you're not imagining 200 people listening to your song 5 times, or you're not imagining 50 people listening to your song 20 times. You're just kind of like numbers. So it's important to be able to quantify and qualify that for the artist. I try to do that as much as possible. So like at least with AMs, like I know like because we spoke with Iana about it. It was really fun to do. Like I was just like, I hope you know that this is just like a testament to how great, and you can see it now because the girl
Yes,
is
sir.
just on a roll. I know she released something this week. I think it's called Coin,
Yeah,
the demos.
Yes, the demos. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just wonderful to see. I'm excited to work with even more artists. Like now that I'm back and I'm on the ground, like it's impossible not to. And I think I do have a bias. I think I like working with people here a bit more.
Okay, that was said with you can't see his face, but that was said with a little bit of a I don't even know what face that was. It's like I'm frustrated and also like this guy's. Oh man. Okay, I guess we could. Oh, he sighed too. Dang, that's crazy. I guess we could keep it with music too. What are you currently working on, and what that you can share? And I guess what you'd like to put people onto in terms of the stuff you're doing.
Cool. So,
yeah, and who are you listening? I want to also add to that, like, and who does M.Rumbi listen to, as at least in the Kenyan industry?
who I'm listening to top of my head right now, everyone should go listen to, is Black Ops by Boy Black Akili Hippie.
Boy
The
Black
track
is
fire.
is brilliant.
As someone who used to like do a lot of sampling back in the day, like there's something about when you samples like a horn sections. Like I hear that song and I'm like, I want Horn Sphere to play it live for him. Like really, like Black Ops is everything and then some. But in terms of what I'm working on, and then I'll talk about other music that I'm enjoying. So I have a song coming out end of this month. It's my last track for the year. That's on the 25th of November. It is a sad boy anthem. We really went indie for it. So like if you enjoy Bon Iver, that type of sound, it's a collaboration with Cheruu. It's called From the Other Side. So I'm really excited about that. I also have an Akili session coming up on the 13th of November. So I'm excited to, I think I will be performing the song live for the first time, just kind of like sharing it with people. And I'll also be doing a few other songs from my discography alongside some amazing, amazing artists. So there's that. And we're rolling it out, but we should be having the second Sunday Acoustic Soul session on the 15th of December. The lineup is confirmed. We're just waiting to do a few things. So I don't want to say names and then it'd be like, oof, because things change sometimes. But definitely, we're gonna do another one. We really like the first one was really dope. People seem to enjoy it. We had Njerai, Cheruu, and Duta Notes, and they brought the house down.
Fire.
So shout out to our queens. They did the damn things. Now we're coming through with the gents. I'm very excited about it. It's looking like it's going to be like a beautiful evening, afternoon of acoustic music. So I mean, I'm excited to. I mean, I can say I'm going to be one of the guys performing. Cool. That's I can confirm that ahead of time. Like, yeah, I will be there. But we have like a really special lineup. I'm really trying to bring together different audiences in Kenya because I was having this conversation with someone recently where we said it's kind of sad that we have like this thing where like Kenyans love like 2 Kenyan artists and then they don't know anyone else. So we need to create like more overlap in terms of like when you say you're listening to certain artists, it's not just 3 or 5. It's like, no, I have a whole list of Kenyan artists for different vibes, different moods, different sounds that you can enjoy. So it's kind of like that.
I think about
Nice.
So before we continue, I think about collaborating with some of the more, because I mean a lot of the artists you work with are a bit are more on the niche sound. Are you thinking of collaborating with, and this actually goes into my next question, is are you thinking of collaborating with some of the more mainstream acts, and what are sort of your aspirations as an artist in this region?
Am I looking at collaborating with some of the mainstream acts? You know what? As long as they're not hard to work with, and I say that in a polite way, because like even the not big acts can be hard to work with. Artists, I am an artist. I can be hard to work with.
What do you mean by hard to work with?
Difficult for just no reason whatsoever.
It's like why? So I am, as I've said, I'm Tiaji. One of the biggest things for me is communication. I will call you, I will text you. I like planning out my releases ahead. And one of the reasons I say that is because like you can see the results. Like, we plan out a release, we get playlisting, we get features. It actually helps. So it becomes a bit of a struggle when I feel like I'm chasing after someone for a song. And it's like, okay, do you still want to do this? And I think something I realize is that artists are really bad at communicating. Sometimes they actually don't want to do the song and they don't know how to say it. And
so they'll just frustrate you out of the collaboration.
Really. And I think it's because people are emotionally connected with their songs. So it's like,
now I'm thinking about some of the people I've been working
that's what
with.
they don't know. Trust me. That's my advice. Like golden nugget. If they want to, they will. That literally applies to music as well. Like if they want the song out, the song will come out, because just apply to yourself. Like if you want to put out a song, you will go above and beyond
to make it work,
make that song come out. So I would be down. I mean, there's a lot of great music coming from what is it called? Like the country. There's a lot of dope. I mean, I'm a big fan of like female vocals. So like, I feel like if I had to, like if this was me shooting my shot to anyone, I'd probably just like Njoki Karo would be probably top of my list.
And I see that too.
Yeah, like
Joki's great.
I would love to do something with her.
She's
like
great.
She has, and I think it's also like I have a bias. I think she has an indie-esque sound.
Yeah.
So like doing a project that has like a very ethereal with strings and just guitar feel would be like honey, and then some on top. Like that would be beautiful.
I'd like to hear that.
I'm open to working with everyone. I say like I'd rather we start working and see it doesn't work out than I jump the gun and be like, like if we're not working together, then it's probably because I don't enjoy your stuff, which is fine, because like it's about growing and getting better.
And we're not meant to enjoy everyone's stuff. I don't like that. Why are we forced to enjoy everyone's music? Like, hey, I'm a man of tastes. I have tastes.
Someone told me this thing. They were like, we need to bring back the art of letting people enjoy things. Like, it's okay for you to enjoy your thing there. If I don't enjoy what you enjoy, it doesn't mean
it's fine. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you hate me. We just don't rock.
You don't like this song? Oh my God, I can't talk to you. It's like, bro, it's great that you. And I also feel like, especially as artists, we need to be able to have the ability to tell potential in things that we don't enjoy. So there's music I don't enjoy that comes from the country.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that song is necessarily bad. I mean, some songs are bad, and that's just like no. I mean, there's good food, there's bad food, there's good music, there's bad music.
Oh, nice. You saved it.
So, so just with that, like I mean, there could be food that I don't enjoy that is good. There's music that I might not enjoy. That is, what is it called? That is good. I think Kenyan artists need to have a bigger perspective, especially with the industry, because I've seen like people can be very issue, because like I know like people have like very bad connotations about labels, and like I'm like, I understand that. I think labels are fishy, but artists are also fishy. So, maybe it's a perfect couple. Like, I think self-analysis, self-awareness. Sorry.
Oh man. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh damn! But who am I listening to in the K? So definitely have to say listening to Boy Black, listening to Killy Hippie. But that's because like I'm a big hip hop head. Like, I love sampling, and they speak
Yeah.
to a certain
Love it so much.
part of my soul. And like
Yeah.
you can see, I'm being specific because like Killy Hippie works with like a few artists, but I'm saying specifically like my top, out of the guys he's working with would be definitely Boy Black. That man writes different. Like even just being in studio with him, it's like I felt like I need to go back and be like, okay, damn, I need to like approach things differently, just in terms of how I'm looking at music. Let me see who else. Elsa Wamoy is doing beautiful stuff. Like that is just.
She is.
Trabole is a beast. I feel like he does. In my personal opinion, I feel like he doesn't get enough love outside of the artist community. Like those people who are like a rapper's rapper.
Yeah,
I feel like Tra is like a rapper's rapper. So like if you listen to music, everyone knows Tra. Like if you don't know music though, you'll be like, oh, I've the Tra who? Traba. And who else would I say is on my yeah, those would have to be the top ones. But I would say
That's a good list.
Yeah, but also because what, I'd say Kenyans don't make a lot of music that I would feel falls into like. Do we make indie soul? Do we make a lot of indie soul music? Like, would you say
indie soul?
It's not very popular, but then not many people are doing.
Would that be like? Would that be like what Ondi used to make, or I don't know what's indie soul?
I guess what. Ondi has very strong, soul influences. I think you could say Cheruu's soul is indie soul.
Okay.
Because
okay, I see.
Yeah. Or Lian Lahava's is indie soul as well. Because I kind of view indie soul as R&B that's a bit more minimalistic. Because like I wouldn't call it, like, for example, like Kehlani's music is R&B, but it's not indie soul. Indie soul can be indie R&B as well. So I don't think we have a lot of that type of music, and I really love that. Like, just sing to me with your guitar and your voice. I don't want
my kind of music.
Simple. Keep it unplugged. Staki nyingi. I don't want a lot.
So, I want to ask you a few. I'm going to ask you like 5 really quick fire questions, and just give us quick fire answers.
Let's go.
Number 1, what's your favorite book or movie?
Book A Little Life by Hani Yanigara. Best book in the world.
Okay. And movie?
Movie La La Land.
La La Land. That's fire.
Land. I haven't seen it still.
Please do.
What's your favorite way to unwind, and you can't say music or making music? Has to be something outside of that.
Does it have to be legal?
It doesn't.
All right, that's the answer. We've got our answer already. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good answer.
There are various illegal activities that I will not get into because my old man's a big supporter of everything I do. So he's going to listen to this. So let it be vague for him. But I used to do jogging and running. I don't do it as much, but that used to do like a lot. It really helps clear. Like I don't know. It's a weird thing, but you know that thing of like clearing your mind. Like I'm gonna be that 45-year-old with a lawnmower that I can drive.
Yes.
It's peaceful, right?
Yes.
Everyone I tell that goes gives me like a young ooh. It's like yeah with my headphones on.
That's peaceful. When you grow older, you realize like some of these things that we used to look at as mundane are actually very very peaceful and nice times to think. Like just sitting outside in the sun.
Bro. So yes, I would be cutting grass with my lawnmower, or I would be partaking in activities that we shall not specify.
Okay, what would you say is your biggest flaw?
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
all right.
Damn. Okay.
All right.
Afan's really trying to get to know me.
This is
you know what? Patience is my biggest flaw. No, actually, impatience.
Patience.
Because I'm impatient as hell, and I have a tendency of wanting to do things right. So what I do is I overcorrect. So I have a tendency of waiting too long. Does that make sense? I don't know. Like I'm impatient and therefore
Like-
I overcorrect
Yeah.
by being too patient.
Yeah.
And I find myself waiting for things for too
You're
long.
probably the one artist who is punctual. You were here an hour before, and I'm just
I
like,
was afraid
"Fam."
of getting lost. Like I was afraid. I was like, I
Yeah,
might.
But that's
I've
such a
never been
good
here.
quality in an artist too. Like you need to be on time for things, because then you'll be there for the things.
Imagine. And look, it's a big thing for me. Like if my show starts late, it hurts me inside. Like trust me, like when we're doing debrief and my friends are like, no, but the show was really good. People, I'm like, yeah, but we started late. It's like it's just 30
2
minutes. I'm
minutes
like, it's
late.
exactly 30 minutes, man. Like so I'm big on time. I think punctuality is
Exactly.
important. I don't know why artists think that they can. By the way, anyone who says African timing should be thrown into a hole. Like what the hell?
A very shallow hole, so we can get them out quickly.
It's such a bad excuse. Like I hate it so much.
Just plan. Just be on time, or say you're going to be late.
Yeah, you even it gets so bad to the point where you start like deliberately being late to things because you know you don't want to be like the first one there or some shit like that. It's so annoying.
That is nonsense. Just be there on time. Just be there when you're supposed to. I can understand fashionably late, like you getting late for a gig as an attendee. Like I'm
Yeah.
not going to stop you, but as the artist who's
Fashion
performing,
without drip.
Have to be there.
woo, fashionably late.
And
but
my last
Fashion without
and my
drip.
last question, my last quick hit question. What do you think happens when you die?
Okay.
Ooh, I hope it's sleep. Like I know people have this whole idea that they want to come back or they want to go to heaven. And I say this in a nice way. Life is suffering. Thus, we must make the most of it. I do not know why you'd want to come back. I think death
As
is
a tree.
No, trees get cut. Like this is how I view
In the forest, deep in the Amazon forest, where
Those ones are
nobody
getting
ever-
cut
Even
too,
those are
actually.
getting cut, especially like no trees are safe. Go hug a tree.
No
It might be
trees
the
are
last
safe.
time you get to. But the reason I
Okay.
say that is I feel like death is the moment between like when you wake up and when you're still asleep. Like that whole space, that vacuum of not knowing, not like you don't feel anything, you don't see anything, and I think that in itself is pure bliss. So it's just like you're not. It's yeah. So
Definitely be reading books. For sure, read some
oh,
books, man.
existential crisis here.
Oh man,
man.
yeah. I mean, that's cool. I mean, as we wrap up, you know, like you listen to the podcast, so we usually put our guests on the spot. What would you like to play? What would you like the people to know that you are really into? What kind of what song? Kenyan, has to be Kenyan, obviously. But what song are you?
Oh, by me.
Are you
It's that
it could be by you. It could be by anyone. It's this is your chance to
kind of
showcase.
okay. So I think this year, because I do release quite a bit, so it's easier to kind of like judge songs per year. Definitely 2024. My top 2 songs would be "It's You" and "Jane." I think they're my most honest tracks.
Yeah.
Jane is inspired by a true story. "It's You," I think exemplifies how I feel like a song should convey emotion sometimes. Like the fact that like repetition is important. Hey, listen to your English teachers, kids. Those literary devices, they come back. They can assonance,
Yeah.
consonants, they're important. You'll apply them.
Just use ChatGPT for your homework.
Ooh, have you used ChatGPT for songwriting? I know I'm not supposed to be asking
We've
questions.
we've used ChatGPT to
figure out-
structure entire episodes of a podcast.
to find out how
So, yeah,
how
we've
an artist
used
can blow up
ChatGPT.
in the country. And it has actually helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has actually helped. A couple of episodes back, we
Yeah, I haven't used it. Like I'd love to do like a ChatGPT like EP, call it like I don't know, Robot and Me, or like just like it's just, but like actively alluding to the fact that I used it in it, so that because I'd like to hear how people would judge, so that because I think it's very easy for you to judge without being in the process. Because there's a lot of AI tools in music right now. There's AI tools for mixing and mastering, for EQing, for compressing.
everything.
I mean, people don't know this. So it would be like, okay, you said you used AI. Did AI write the songs? Maybe I'm like, AI just mixed and mastered the project and I wrote everything. Or maybe AI sang the song and I wrote the lyrics. So that
If
would
you
be
mix and mastered AI's work, because if you don't think about it,
you know, like that would be fun.
yeah. So you're talking about the song.
I have to make it top 2. It would have to be The Great Blonde Dawn by Killy Hippie and Boy Black, because that track is just it's everything. And
Fire.
Mapenzi by Cheruu and King Kirby. I think that's my favorite off of the Heezy Streets project.
Fire.
Ooh, and Soul by Cheruu. I'm sorry, I need to throw that in. Like 3 top songs. Because I love Lian Lahavas, and I wish people made more music like her. And Cheruu is the only one who's scratching that itch for me right now. If there are any other amazing vocalists out there who would love to work with me on some Lian Lahavas music,
let's go.
slide into my
Promo,
DMs.
promo,
Hey,
of course.
Ready to make that music.
So if you had to pick one of those,
You know what? I think it would have to be Soul, because I found out that I knew how to play it by accident. Like I was rehearsing with someone and I was like, why do I know this song? Like I learned it vicariously. That like I learned it just by listening to it over and over. So
That's cool.
Favorite song.
Cool. So here is Soul by the talented Cheruu.
I've been trying. I never thought I'd get this far. All my life I've been fighting for my place in the world. Ya dunia nimeona mengi na safari bado ndefu. Wahenga walinena mengi, but it's only the beginning. So I'm a little stronger, stand a little taller, sing a little louder now. I'm a little stronger, stand a little taller, sing a little louder now. 'Cause it's good for the soul. 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 Good for the Good for the Good for the soul. Good for the soul. Good for the soul. Good for the soul.
Yep. So you've just been listening to the smooth sounds. Oh, I don't have the radio voice here. that was Soul by Cheruu. Cheruu is really cool. I like what she's, and I think she's coming up with something too. I don't know if she's dropped it already, but I saw her.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess this is part of my job as management. November 14th.
Oh, look at you! Yeah, Good job.
Stay on it.
Yes, sir. Get that promo in.
Yeah, she has something dropping with SHLM And she has some very exciting works coming up for New Year.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear on a playlist near you. You're going to see her on a stage near you because you deserve good music, and I'm going to make sure you get it.
He's definitely a manager, man. You got into that manager lingo quickly. Goodness.
Can't be helped, man. Can't be helped.
Yeah, that's fine, man. Thanks for coming by, man. Thanks
no.
for stopping by.
No, thank you for having me. Like I said, I'm a big fan of this pod. Like the fact that you guys figured 100. Like, I genuinely like. I guess I can say this. I felt like I wish I had started what you guys had started when you started it, because I had wanted to start a music podcast with like Killy Hippie, like back in the day, and we never got around to doing it.
But you still can. You still can. Like, why not?
You know, yeah. It's a maybe. It's a maybe for me because I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking of maybe doing something for artist resources, just to kind of plug people with like grants and to help them, because like there's opportunities. I feel like if you're gatekeeping links, you need to do better. That's actually, by the way, like it's like
bro. There's so much space for all of us in the podcasting like community. So if you want to do that, and like the idea you've just laid out about putting people onto grants and stuff, that would be so helpful. So we need that.
Yeah, I will
be reminding you about this now.
Like, fingers crossed. I will. Like, I mean, if you guys would want me to, like, if you want me to send you links, because I do that with my colleagues and friends, because like these opportunities, I don't look for them. Like, I run into them, and I'm like, if I'm running into them, it makes no sense for me to sit on them.
Yeah, that's the artist way. You just keep them all to yourself.
Yeah, that's why. Look, that's why people are rotting, because they're stagnant. Like, no shit, but like, yeah, like, look, like it's a community over competition. Like, do you know how beautiful it is to be able to look around you and be like, the people who are winning are my people. It's us. We did this. We came this far, and other people might not want to do it, but that's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's my mission.
It's fire.
Thank you so much again for coming through. We really appreciated this conversation, man.
Some gems
so you're listening, make sure you check out M.Rumbi, check out his music, and check out his artists. Check out Cheruu and Cheruu. Those are artists we've mentioned on this podcast, and very, very fire. So again, thank you so much for coming through, man. And that was episode 104, man.
Man.
We're out.